As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster.
The Pacific Experience Podcast.
What's up, man?
I'm here, dude.
Yes!
I lived through it.
We're back!
They took me up in the goddamn spaceships.
And they brought you back.
I'm back here.
And here you are.
Twice
Woo!
as clean, believing in Jesus Christ. Not really. Hey,
How
welcome.
we doing? How we doing, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in. This is the Pacific Experience Podcast.
Pacific Experience.
This is what, episode 32?
Yeah, 32 or
Yeah.
33. You did a solo one last time.
Yeah, I
Was
think-
that 31?
I think that was episode
Okay.
31. But we are back, everyone. I hope you had a wonderful, safe holiday. Happy New Year, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, all the above. But we're alive. We're kicking. It's fucking January 2nd.
2019, dude.
Yes, it is, and we're
Hell
live.
yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Hell, young bro,
Right. Yeah, so much excitement, dude. So many. I've had great things already happen in the first 2 days of 2019 where I literally was just looking at the calendar like, you know what, dude? Fuck the other 363 days. I killed this year already. Fuck this
Fuck
year,
yeah,
man.
dude. High
Bring
five
me
to
to
that.
2020, dude.
Yes.
Make next 100 years my fucking years.
Fuck
That's the
yeah,
attitude
dude.
to have.
Oh, I'm motivated. I'm
Yeah,
motivated,
man.
dedicated. Holy
Motivated
shit.
and medicated,
Mo-
predicated, implicated on what the fuck is actually happening on the site.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something.
We can keep rhyming about it.
Yeah, let me tell you something. If you're trying to live your life better this year, here's the number one thing you have to do. So we're starting a new year. Don't have the same mindset that you had last year. Everybody's always like, new year, new me. You know what people fuck up is that they do the new year with the same mindset they had last year. Throw that shit out the window. But
Yeah.
do your life the way you want to do your life now. Don't make any resolutions. Don't set any fucking goals. Change your fucking mindset to live your life. That's how you make it better.
Well fucking said, man.
Stay out of the gyms for the next 3 months because they're going to be horrendous.
gonna be in shape this year.
Dude, you could be stuck on that elliptical doing that weird Kegel machine. Remember that?
Yes.
Where it like feels like
Yes,
it's
I do.
tearing apart your groin. I
Yeah.
literally thought my penis was going to split in half the time I did it. Just like sitting in the weight room. Just like waiting for it to be like ripped down the middle like a hot dog. I was like, what is the
At
point of
least
this
your
machine?
fucking butt crack just fucking ripped
Oh,
apart.
yeah, opposite end? Ooh.
Yeah, the opposite end, exactly.
Ooh.
Man, Austin, cheers, dude.
Cheers.
Cheers. The fans out there, it is growing. Pack X is with you. You are with us. We are growing. We're getting feedback. We're getting hits. We're getting downloads, follows, and likes. Thank you so much. We're on every platform but, what is it, Spotify and Pandora. But, hey, give us downloads, give us likes. We'll be there soon.
Yeah,
So,
take us to those places.
Yeah. Anyways, Austin,
Yeah, man.
what's going on, dude? I know you got some bullshit to talk about. I see that
Dude,
fucking
The
twinkle in your
best
eye.
part is it's like it's relevant. It's very much relevant.
Good. What
And
do you got?
It's funny. Relevant, funny.
Relevant, funny. Give
Relevant,
it to
funny.
me, man. Oh, I'm like a dog in a fucking cage. Give it to me.
Government shut down and poop in parks.
Really?
Yeah. So,
Okay. Which one are we going to start with?
Well, I mean, no, they're correlated.
Oh, shit. The
So-
government shut down because people are
Yeah,
pooping
yeah.
in parks?
So, government shut down
That's a shame.
and national parks, right?
Right.
So, they're
Oh,
connected.
yeah,
So
yeah.
they don't
I was
have
thinking about that.
staffing. So, actually,
Right.
there are some parks that have limited staffing, and what the interesting thing to understand during the government shutdown is that it's entering the 12th day.
Right.
So
Yep.
there are jobs that they deem necessary, but they don't get paid for. So basically, you go to work, but you don't get your paycheck. But what that means is you have your job secured because you're showing up.
Right.
There are also jobs that they don't deem as important. Yeah, absolutely. Because meanwhile, while this government shutdown is going on, all these people that are bickering and arguing and fighting, they're getting paychecks.
Right.
They are the Congress and though they're all getting paychecks, even though they're not, working. Like what is it? I don't want to pull my phone up, but it's
Yeah.
over hundreds of thousands of workers, federal workers, are laid off.
Right.
As of right now. Anyways, back to parks. Some people are going to work, but they're not getting paid, but their job is deemed necessary, so they're doing it. Others, they're not, so they get to stay
Kinda
home.
like
They don't
military.
get a paycheck. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. When I was in the military, once government shut down and our check was like 3 days late. Nothing like this, but
Yeah.
yeah.
But anyways, causing a lot of concern. But what's funny? So like national parks, people are still visiting.
No
national
one's cleaning
parks.
the shittas.
Dude, nobody. So they have limited bathrooms, and what's funny is people are talking about how it's like horrendous, how literally like park goers are just pooping in the park. And here's the thing.
Oh my God.
That's all fine and dandy.
Right.
Except here's what you do like any other fucking caveman human. Bury it.
Right.
Dig a hole with your feet, with your hands. I don't care if you tell your little kid to dig a hole for your shit. You bury it. No. People are literally going to Yosemite, going to parks in Colorado,
Yeah.
parks in Montana, and they're just shitting and then leaving it.
Who is doing this? Is it everyone? The people who
Just
aren't
people
getting paid
visiting
and
the
just
parks. Just
fucking-
visiting the parks. And what's funny to me is I'm sitting here, and I'm an avid outdoorsman, but I'm sitting here and I'm like, we're literally at the point in society where, like, right, government shuts down. There are bathrooms.
Right.
And they're getting clean, but there's not enough. So
Well-
what do humans do? Let me just take a shit
Yeah,
on
let me
this
just fucking-
600-year-old tribal rock that's used for sacred marriage, and whoopsie, don't have it. Yeah, I'm just gonna leave that there next to the other 20, 30 turds. Like, seriously, this is what humanity has come
I'm
down
just
to.
gonna
Government
pop my
shuts
butt
down,
cheeks out
and we act like a bunch of fucking heathens.
Yeah.
I mean, we act like a
Right.
third world country.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like you could go to poor slums in India,
Well,
and you can find shit in the streets. If that's what you want to experience,
Right.
that's where you should go do
Why
it.
are people doing that though? Because I mean, it's the same thing when you take your dog to the
Laziness.
park. You take your dog to the park. Your dog takes a shit. You scoop it up with the fucking paper bag that they give you. Are those bags not
dude, are
being
you kidding
refilled
me?
because the guy ain't
How many
getting
times
paid
have you
to
been out
refill the
hiking
bags?
and you see? You know what the best part too is?
I take those
about
bags all the
dogs
time with
shitting
my
in
dog.
parks. Dogs will shit out on hikes, right?
Right.
People bag it up.
Right.
You know what's the other part of bagging it up? You take it out with you because
Right.
now you've just put it in a plastic bag to preserve it for thousands of years. What do people do all the time?
They throw that bag.
Leave it. They leave it.
I see.
I literally see it all the time. Just like, oh, cool.
Less
Before-
effective than just taking a
Before
shit
there was
without the bag.
feces, you could have just left that. That would have degraded faster than you bagging it and then being like, oh, this is really going to ruin my yoga pants Instagram photo. So I'm just not going to carry this dog shit from my little deer chihuahua that I have in my backpack. And yeah, dude, it irritates me. Trust me,
man.
I have picked up those bags before after watching owners have their dog shit,
Yeah.
have them bag it up and then leave it on the trail and thrown it at said owners and been like, you
Dude,
did?
I'm confused though because I swear I remember right before the government shutdown happened, didn't Trump say something like, "Hey, government workers are going to have paid vacation time off," and the government was supposed to shut down anyways, and then now it's
What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know. Didn't he? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm asking you. Didn't
I mean,
he
at
like,
this point,
give a bunch of
I
people
mean, at this
paid
point,
time off?
Lloyd, I've seen. I mean, and I hardly read the news. It pops up my phone.
Right.
I have seen so many articles pop up that have talked about not only Trump's impeachment, but more so, he's not going to be impeached because he's going to leave office to ask for immunity for crimes against like his organization and family. Here's the thing:
Interesting.
regardless of whatever that says, 'cause you can't fucking trust it. The
Yeah.
fact that he is doing so poorly now that his escape plan is like, I'm just gonna go. It's my job. I'm just gonna go. Which is
Kind of like no call, no showing.
oh yeah, it's very viable, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, we can delve into a little bit of politics, but look at all the generals that have retired. I mean, look at all the shit that he's
General Mattis being like, "Fuck this shit."
done. Mattis, and then there's this
Yeah.
Homeland Security general that left
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, he has, and what's interesting too is now seeing all these sociology and psychology professors weigh in on it, but like the way that Trump has been doing his whole presidency is not only been so abnormal that it's just like it's coming down to they're saying like we can't have another president like this because it will destroy us. I mean,
Right.
and look at him like it's all very emotion filled. It's all I would say unorganized. It's unprofessional, and it's all because he holds this office that he has this power. But it's crazy because I feel he's a very insane individual. People want to talk
Yeah.
about his business prowess. Yes, I think he can probably fucking do that. But he is just all over the map. I mean, dude, we're pulling troops out of Syria. He took a photo of SEAL Team 6, and he showed their faces.
Really?
Yeah, he posted that on the
shit.
holidays. He went, him and his wife flew, and so my dad, bless his fucking heart, was a Navy SEAL. and he's a really hard
Right on.
fucking worker.
Yeah.
And sort of in that realm, I would say he's conservative. He's not super conservative. He's not
Yeah.
super liberal, but he is definitely on that bend of having. He's a doctor too, and he's Native American,
Respect.
so he's got a lot of, I think, like open-ended ideas and open mindset.
Yeah.
But talking to him around Christmas time, I was like, hey, so did you see that photo that Trump posted? Because at first he wasn't going to address any of the troops, and then on like Christmas Eve or whatever it was, he flew out to see a bunch of different
Right.
people.
Yeah, my cousin's in Iraq, and he called me the next day. I was like, dude, Trump's here. I was like,
Yeah.
what? This was like 7 a.m. He's like, yeah, he just got here. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so he went around and did this bolstering, and the fucked up thing is that he posted with the soft guys. I mean, which is like Special Forces, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, whatever. He posted the photo on his Twitter unblurred. So like now, and this is like apparently, and so what again? Like this was an article, but I read through many articles because number one, here's one thing I believe is that the job that the military does is not only dangerous, but especially if you're doing stuff that is in connection. If you believe with conspiracy theories or power struggles or anything that you do in special forces is directly dealing with bigger chess player people.
Absolutely, dude. I'm reading a book right now called 100% Ownership, written by 2 Navy SEALs, and it's amazing. And
Dude.
the first prologue, they're explaining how they're not. The whole first prologue is explaining how, look, we're gonna tell this story, but we're not gonna jeopardize the safety or the well-being of our SEALs, of our community, of our enemies, even of anyone. So they're like, so names are gonna be altered. Missions, there'll be a blur with some of the stories we'll tell you. This book has been approved by like the government and that for it to be released because of how they tell many stories of incidents where
so
you're
basically
like,
they'll give you a premise, but they're not giving you details so that
you don't
can,
know the
like,
time, the year, or the
know,
place.
Like, this is this incident.
It's just like an action movie all of a sudden starting, but you know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And the book is amazing. I recommend. It's like called 100% Ownership, something about Navy SEAls, but
100% ownership.
yeah,
Look it
dude,
up.
fucking and the Audible version because here we are in a podcast. I'm an audio guy. I like listening to audio books and
Listening to
podcasts and shit.
voices.
They're the ones who narrate it.
Oh,
So they narrate.
awesome.
So
you
they
get to
got
hear-
them SEAL voices
Right.
as yeah, it's fucking sick, dude.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, dude, you know what?
But yeah,
I'm
so,
confused about all that shit. Fuck Trump. It's very obvious that
I think
I'm
the
pro
point
Trump,
is
but
this is
fuck
all,
talking about
this
it, man.
is all just a downward. It's all going down. You can see. I mean, like, so all
Yeah.
this shit was going on. The market, the stock market, fucking
Don't get me started
dump,
about that.
dude. It
I lost a
fucking
lot of money, man.
Dump. Well, and that's the thing is that
But I'm in
this
it for
is
the long run.
this
so
is
I'm
a
holding.
president that is emotional, and when you're dealing with stuff like that, where it's like we're no longer doing trade agreements, we're no longer doing this, we're no longer doing that, and you're fucking with hundreds of millions of billions of dollars of other people's
Right.
money due to your behavior. I mean, he is on.
It's for the long run, though, man. We have to take the hit for something to be fixed that's so fucked after like the snowball
Do you
effect
think he's
of
fixing
years
anything?
And years. I don't think that he's fixing it. I think he's starting the process for it to be fixed. And I've said this like 20 episodes ago. I don't think Trump's gonna be the one to
How?
fix it. I think the next guy. Because here's the thing, dude. If you say you build a house, right, and the house is fucked, right? You're realizing it's leaking, shit's happening, and you're like, we need to.
Who
fucking
built this house?
Whoever, doesn't matter. The house has been built. The people who built this house are no longer around, but we're living in it. We need to fix this house. We need to fucking rebuild this house. Basically, instead of us taking down this wall and then, no pun intended, and then building this wall while replacing the roof at the same time, instead of remodeling it,
Do you
Trump
feel
is
that?
coming in.
Do you feel that he's doing that?
I don't know. I feel that at least because here's the thing, dude. If I'm looking at this house and I know that we need
Because
to
I mean, the
restructure
government
this
shutdown
house,
right now would say that he's not at all doing that because nobody can fucking agree
Right.
to do anything.
Exactly. Yeah, I would agree to that. But essentially, the government shutdown is in a sense like in an analogy to, look, did you see the T-Dome? Remember, not the T-Dome, but the
Cheney Stadium?
no, not Cheney Stadium.
Kingdom.
Kingdom. Thank you. What do? We fucking demolished that motherfucker, dude. And now look at what we have. You know what I mean? I think in this long process of fixing America, Trump is just demolishing it, and I think in a sense this needs to happen because no one can come in and fix what is going on. Dude, how do they get rid of a cancer? They destroy it. They give you more cancer, right? Right? They give you more cancer to destroy the cancer. What's the flu shot? It's giving you the flu, right? So
Well,
your
the
body
cancer,
adapts.
They give you chemo. They just irradiate your body with a
That
bunch
too.
of
They
radiation.
give you a bunch of radiation to fucking kill it off.
I can agree that. Here's what I will
think
say
this needs
is
to
that
happen, and I think two
No.
presidents from now will be the president
no,
that we need.
I absolutely agree. I think the boiling point of, and we went through Bush, we went through Clinton. I mean, we grew up
Fuck
in those
Bush.
times. Like, here's what I'll
And
say though.
Clinton.
Like those were all almost like kiddie versions of what I think Hillary and Trump represented, and
I
they're
100%
they are
agree.
like the full blown extreme ends. And
Bush was though, dude. Bush Jr. Fucking Bush. George Bush.
I mean, his whole family. I mean, dude, you can say that. You
Bush
can say
is
that
a
about,
fucking savage, dude.
can
Dude,
say
I
that about
watched a
Dick Cheney.
video of the shit. Oh, Dick Cheney too. He's the Darth Vader of the government.
Oh yeah, dude survived like 4 heart
He's called
attacks.
Darth
He's
Cheney or
fucking
something.
he killed a dude. He legally killed the guy. Shot him bird hunting. How do you shoot a dude with an orange vest bird hunting? And think he's a fucking pheasant flying
Ah,
through
well,
the
he
air?
didn't vote for the right bill the fucking week
Oh,
before.
dude. Yeah, that's a whole nother wormhole we'll get into another time.
Yeah.
But I do agree that Trump, what he's doing is good for us. It looks bad, and trust me, it is bad. But this is so healthy because this is what's gonna drain the swamp. Essentially, I mean, you're gonna
Right.
get people like Trump, Mike Pence. You're gonna get all these hardcore
Right.
Democrats that can't agree. You're finally gonna get a collusion of people that are willing. They're Democrat and Republic. They'll be like, listen, we have to come to terms on things because too long have we allowed all these old fucks. And sorry, but they are old fucks.
Yeah.
They're holding on to old ideals.
Like
I'm
you said,
sorry.
they're questioning what's his name from Facebook about fucking floppy disks. and
Yeah,
shit.
exactly, dude. Like
Mark
Mark Zuckerberg, a fucking billionaire, sitting there with Congress, and they're asking about floppy disk, and he's just like, "Holy shit! Do you guys
Yeah.
like? Well, how the fuck do you communicate? Pigeons or owls, like in Harry
Right.
Potter?"
You know the CIA started Facebook. Think about it, dude. Facebook
Of course
is
they did, dude. I have a
it's
friend
just,
whose
just like
uncle.
Snapchat, man. It's to capture your face.
I
and have facial
have a friend
recognition.
whose uncle helped develop the facial recognition software for Facebook, and
Yeah.
he knew, and he worked for the CIA, and
Of
that
fucking
was
course he did.
That's who is contracted for.
Dude, if you ask me, those are the fucking enemies of this country, man. And obviously, we
How-
are tapped.
How
right
can
now,
you, dude?
but-
I mean, for companies that anybody works for, how can you? I mean, you work for any mobile tech company, and it's not just saying, it's not at all like predicating cell phones, like Xbox, like anything. You work for a tech company, you are advancing technology to monitor us. I mean, that's
yeah,
the
it's
whole
always to
thing
monitor
for
us.
technology.
It's never to make society advance.
There's a reason they kick off-grid people out of where they're living because they
Right.
don't like the fact that they can't monitor somebody.
Exactly.
These people
Legally,
aren't-
you can only live off grid for 2 weeks,
Yeah,
and
it's,
you can be thrown in prison if you're living in a spot longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah, dude, and that's what's funny and like I think it's really ironic because it's this whole. And here's maybe what I'll touch on because this sort of leads into a big thing that happens with elections, voting, everything. Is all emotion. So we're in a heightened state of emotion. We talked briefly.
100%.
We talked briefly about
Logic is completely thrown
the
out the window in America right now.
the gun law that got passed in Washington State, where now like the new gun laws, it's like 21 to buy an AR-15. Okay, I'm fine with that. Like, doesn't bother me. Stricter background checks. Okay, cool. I'll pass
Yeah,
background checks.
okay.
And then what was it? The last bit of it was like, if your gun in the safe is stolen, robber opens said safe. They use your registered gun to commit a crime. You are now liable you can be prosecuted for said crime in some extent to the law. And the fucked up thing is what that basically is saying is that you as a registered gun owner and a criminal breaks into your house, takes your weapon steals your vault, your lockbox, whatever, gets said weapon out of whatever it's in,
Right.
uses it to commit a crime. Because you were a safe registered gun owner and a criminal used your gun in a crime, that somehow is a mark on you in society. So now you are going to be legally prosecuted for providing a criminal a weapon to commit a crime. I mean, that was part of that initiative,
Right.
and that's why I voted no on it, because that doesn't make any sense. I don't at all believe that anybody should ban guns, and people can argue with me all you want. I'm not even a fucking gun owner, but I'm smart. I understand that criminals are always going to have guns. I look at places like Britain, same thing. UK, Germany, Australia, Canada. A lot of these places have. Are we the only country that doesn't have guns totally banned? I know. Probably in Germany and all these other places, it's a lengthier process to own a firearm,
Right.
or maybe you have to be military or police to own a firearm.
Right.
But you consistently see these places, and especially recently in the UK and in France, they have terrorist attacks with criminals using guns. And what do the fucking cops have? Tasers.
Right.
tasers and batons.
But here's
And meanwhile, these people are unloading bullets in a crowded marketplace, and they have to wait for their special
forces to
forces
fucking
unit
arrive. Right.
to show up. This is not all degrading the special forces, because I bet they arrive as fast as they can. They do their job really fucking well. But this is what happened when you live in a very just emphasized, emotion-filled environment. It's the same thing with free speech now, too. Like, nobody can sit here and have a fucking debate, because everybody's...
Alex Jones being taken down off of every platform.
Yeah, dude, Alex Jones is a little, like, out there.
Of course.
Here's
you
the thing,
would
though.
be when
I
you
don't...
fucking go down the rabbit hole like him for 30 fucking years straight.
I mean, dude also has, like, 4 Rolexes that he said that he needed the 4 Rolexes to infiltrate the top, like 1% to act like them so he could steal information. Like, he's out there to make money. But here's the thing. I don't think he should be taken down. You know why?
Exactly.
Because he has freedom of speech, unless he's shouting to kill black people and kill Jews and do this.
Which he's not. He's shouting against the government.
Yeah.
And they don't like us, so they take him down. And that right there that's fucking massive, dude. That's not okay.
Yeah.
You know how they were dude, do you know how the perception was made about the riots going on in France? Remember about that? How they were rioting against them because of the initiative voted, just like the one here in Washington, about taxing carbon and shit like that?
Yeah.
Dude, check this out. I really looked into this shit. Do you know it's not fucking violent? American media says, look, you rebel against the government. Look, people are dying. This is happening. It's a peaceful fucking protest, because that's what France does. The people don't like something. Policemen are wearing their yellow vests. Policemen are wearing the yellow vests. Government officials are wearing the yellow vests, and they're marching upon the air quote White House. The French government.
Parliament.
Yeah, exactly. And they're going against it until it gets changed. And that's how it's done in France. But here, we're so stuck with our fucking McDonald's and our Starbucks and our fucking iPhone that we just see a CNN article, we listen to fucking NPR, and we're like, oh, that's the fucking way that it is, and I need to get my ass to work.
Yeah.
And we don't do nothing about it, and we just listen, and we're told, dude, I did a test. I did a fucking test. I got this clock radio, and I set it to wake me up every morning at 7 a.m. and to play the news. 6 days in a row. Every single time on the dot at 7 a.m., the first thing I woke up to was the name Trump. And they were saying something bad about him.
Well, you live in a liberal state. Does that surprise you?
This isn't for this state. This is NPR that I'm waking up to.
I would say NPR is very liberal.
Very
so
liberal, yeah.
Surprise you?
It doesn't surprise me. It just makes me mad.
Well, it's something that you constantly talk about, how you can't trust news.
You can't trust fucking anything, dude,
Yeah.
and it makes me mad. Listen to us. We don't know what we're talking about, but we don't have an agenda behind our backs. No one's telling us to tell us
And
what
that's
to
why you
tell
just got to pick through the grains of salt. I agree with you, dude. It's frustrating.
Easier said than done, though.
Oh, absolutely. Especially when you live in a place where it teaches you to be so liberal, to be so like, dude, I have feelings. Like, I'm not, devoid of emotion, but I have logic behind me too. So it's just, there was a guy that went around. So,
I just recognize when people are being sold.
Well, people are just being
in the media,
yeah,
and the
they're being
government
sold,
are the
but
best
people are not using their brains. I mean, literally, people are not logically willing to think further than their own emotions. That's the thing, is that, like, you have to separate the two. You have to be willing to talk. Like, you want to talk about your hardships in life, cool, and you're willing to talk to somebody else about their hardships in life, cool. You know what you have to do is, when you're talking about your hardships, you're allowed to have emotion, but when somebody else is talking about their hardships, you have to disregard your emotions, because you have to sit and listen and be open to the things that they view to be, like, hurtful, to be hard obstacles. I mean, everybody has a hard life. Granted, whether you were born rich or you were born poor. And here's the thing: is people want to be like, oh, well, being born poor is worse than being born rich. And it's like, you don't know. Like, you don't know the expectations. You don't know what they went through. You don't know what they battled. And that's the thing, is that people want to play a victim. They want this piece of this giant pie that everybody loves to do. Victimizing. People want to be justified.
Right.
And you know what it comes down to? Because America's fat and lazy. Because we're all fat and lazy, dude. People
that's the big conspiracy. How do you fucking suppress humanity? How do you make humanity not question what the fuck you're doing?
Make life harder.
You keep them happy. How do you keep them happy? You keep them fed and entertained.
Well,
period. That's all you got to do. Just keep them fed and entertained, and they're fine. They ain't going nowhere. And then all of a sudden, when they do start to challenge you, or they do start to rebel, and they start to think, then all you do is just fucking stir everything up in the pot by throwing in some bullshit like emotion, like you're saying, the Me Too movement, some of these school shootings that have been perceived to be fucking fake when they these teachers saw fucking the cops walking away with guns out of the school before it happened. Yes, I'm talking about the fucking Parkland shooting. I don't know. I have no clue which way that sways. But all I know is, like I said on my last podcast, why is it even a debate? Why are there so many secrets? How come the government says something and goes back on it? Dude, there is no U.S. fucking government. What it is that it's a fucking giant group of about 20 agencies all battling for power. Because America is the fucking Las Vegas of the world. There's no fucking rules. It's a fucking free man's fucking game. So it's the Wild West, but in the political spectrum.
Oh,
now.
yeah.
And so it's, hey, back in the Wild West, you know, hey, if fucking cowboy comes up, devil, to fucking take your fucking cash, fucking lockbox out of the train, then guess what? They're in power now.
Yeah,
there
dude.
were no witnesses by. You know what I mean? That was how it went. That's how it fucking went.
Yeah, dude, it's
That's
like
how
we
it goes.
may not have the highest GDP per capita, but I can't tell you how many people probably come here from other countries, make billions of dollars, and then
get
dip.
the fuck out. Exactly. This is the Las Vegas of the
Yep.
world, and this is also the shopping
agree with
mall
that.
of the world. The products aren't made here. The products are sold here, and they're here to look pretty. You walk into the fucking.
We don't want that, though, dude.
No, we don't want
Look
that.
at our
but
fucking
that's
country.
the
We
poison
don't
of
want that.
capitalism. Capitalism started out good. Like I've told you before, I used to be for capitalism. At least I thought I was. And now I'm looking at it and I'm like, holy shit, it's actually a fucking poison now, because you take anything that's good and you add a corrupt goes in and they hijack it, then it's fucked. My belief, dude, is this country is great. I love this country. I'm patriotic. But I think America was hijacked. I think it was hijacked in like the fucking 80s. Yeah, Reagan. When capitalism fucking really, really fucking took off, and when American pride started going down the drain right after the Korean War. Right after that, I think that since then this country has just been on a fucking downward spiral, and I don't think it's the people's fault. I do not think it's the people's fault. I think it's just a very few amount of individuals who are criminals running the world to get what they fucking want.
Yeah.
Period.
Do you think it can be changed, though? Do you think it can twist around?
Yes, but not overnight and not with one election, not in one term. No, I think it has to take
and I think
series
that's what
of
this
events.
is about. Like, honestly, I think you're getting like what you're saying is we're getting to a point where, especially our generation. I mean, dude, people, and you know, I say our generation. I was born in the '90s. I say people probably born in the late like '80s. Well, I wouldn't say late '80s. If you're born in the '80s, then on out. We've experienced a lot of cultural change. We've seen a lot of technological change. We've been exposed to a lot. We are adept, and we are adept to what's happening, and we know how to deal with it. Whereas
Right.
everybody else is focused on their piece of the pie.
Right.
Making
Yes,
sure
on
you
their
have
piece of the
what's
pie.
your, like, save your ranch, have your, like,
Yeah.
no.
I was
that's-
born here in this
yeah, that's
ranch. I'm
why-
gonna die on this
yeah,
ranch.
exactly, dude. That's why we have, like, we talked about, like, so we have fucking old white
you take
dudes
pride and you
asking
mix
Mark
it up with
Zuckerberg about
stubbornness.
floppy disks. Bro, when was the last time you saw a fucking computer? Do you still use sheepskin condoms when you fuck your dusty old wife? Holy shit, man. Like,
Right.
do you know there's a thing called warming lube? Like, it literally warms your dick up by KY. It's great. You should try it. It's like a fire log.
Dude,
it's awesome.
I think I mean, what makes me mad
We
is
are
that
we are here to change this. I
think
firmly
so.
believe that, because you know what? There's plenty of entrepreneurs that are young that create an app, do something, make millions of fucking dollars, and then they're just, people are like, why do you live the life you live now? And it's simpler, and they're like, because I don't want to play this fucking game. Like, why would I want to battle old, hardened, fucking deep-seated people in like a huge corporate
Right.
company, and they're all just fat and old.
that's like
and they're
what
just
Steve
like,
Jobs said, man.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't know because you're only 28 and I've been here. I'm 65 and I've been at this company for
40 years. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you probably haven't learned a fucking thing in the past 20 years. What the fuck are you talking
Exactly.
about? I can't tell you
Steve
how pissed
Jobs
off
warned us of this, man. He said good products that should advance humanity we will never see, because what happens is the good product gets made, and then marketing and merchandising goes and they promote the product, and then they
Yeah,
take
we talked about this.
We did, and then they take the fucking pride in it, and all of a sudden the products never fucking come out, because those are the ones who get promoted up into the company.
Dude,
are the
thank
ones
we
who
got
get
Elon
financed.
Musk, who's like, oh yeah, dude, there's a traffic problem in LA. Cool, I'm gonna send cars screaming down a tunnel at 150 miles per
Hyperloop.
hour. Yeah.
Yeah, and
You know what's
Solar City.
fucking crazy too? Is people laugh at it, or people are like, oh yeah, that seems cool. It's like, yeah, I bet this motherfucker's gonna figure it out and do it. And then when it starts happening, people be like, oh shit. And you know what's funny? There's more than just one Elon Musk on this fucking planet, assholes.
Yes, there are.
There are plenty of them.
We just don't
And they're
know
gonna
about
start
it.
flipping this shit around, and people are gonna start losing their goddamn minds.
Damn
And
fucking
I'm so
right.
glad, dude.
Dude, I think that's our cue. Let's take a quick break. We're gonna take a quick break.
Hell
Everyone,
yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank you for tuning in. It's fucking January motherfucking 2nd, 2019. You're with the Pacific Experience Podcast. By the way, I'm Lloyd.
And I'm Austin.
You know it. We'll be right back with you after the break.
Hell yeah. And welcome back from the break. This is the Pacific Experience Podcast. Austin here,
Lloyd here.
doing our thing, living our lives. Thanks for everybody being with us. We are here with you.
Yes, we are, and you are also with us. Forgot to mention earlier, check it out. You can check us out at packxpodcast.com. For those of you who listen to these episodes over and over, I'm sorry that you have to keep hearing that, but hey, we're letting you know where to find us, updating those who are listening for the first time. Share us with your friends. Give us those downloads, those likes, those hits, and that's just going to help us get to that next level. So it is January 2nd. This is episode 30-something. We're rocking and rolling. Austin, I can see you got some fucking bull. You're scrolling through your phone. Your eyebrows are starting to twitch.
Perking up, dude.
I see you got a little chub popping down there. You're
Perking.
moving the table. Yep.
What do I have to talk
What's
about?
going on under that shirt? Why is your chest fucking boasting out all of a sudden?
Dude, I've been putting on this. So what people don't know about me is that I
I
live.
thought you were getting shirtless for a
Oh,
second. I
hell
was like,
no.
we have to film this.
Yeah.
Speaking of, that is what we're on our way to do. I know you guys want to see our beautiful, hairy, fucking bizarre Northwestern faces.
Super hairy.
Austin is shirtless right now, and you guys got to be
Thick.
seeing this. So
Thick hair, better hair.
give us those likes and everything else. That will help us get some fucking cameras up in this bitch.
Yep.
So we can, you can have a
I've
visual.
got a calendar coming out. Not really, but I'll do one.
I will buy 10 of them, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. It works. You know what's funny to see is how often when businesses aren't doing well, there's some sort of like sexual advertisement that comes out to entice more business.
Like the first one of Home Depot is actually some.
If there was a Home Depot calendar, I would buy it.
Yeah.
I want to see Margie
It's
in
just
paint.
one tool.
I want
like,
to see
sitting-
86-year-old Margie in paint glasses with pasted paint pasties on her saggy ass titties.
Oh, holy shit.
Yeah, it's a little visceral, but yeah, I would pay money to see that. And Hank in the hardwood section. Yeah.
Dude, I was gonna tell you during the break. Check this out.
Check it out. Lloyd's doing some parkour right now. So we don't have any sponsors for the show. It'd be cool to get some sponsors. You know, whether it's alcohol or caffeine or you. Oh yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing, but look, I got
got the setup.
bottles, a kit, flavors.
That's what you got for Christmas,
What I'm doing? Yes.
dude. That's awesome.
I'm gonna make a hat next week.
Yeah, we can do that.
No clue what I'm doing.
We can do it.
I was like, let me start. And 10 minutes later, I was like,
Yeah. So what Lloyd's got is he's got his first brew kit, basically 5-gallon buckets and everything that you need to do to crush a bunch of grain, pour hot water on it, extract the
A bunch of
Yeah, dude.
science.
Yeah, bunch of science. Throw some things that are cousins
Let's
of
do some
cannabis
science,
in
bro.
there. Get real high and real drunk while doing it, and then yeah, you got a beer
Make a
that's
cannabis beer.
hops are cousins of cannabis. You can throw
Austin and I, or no, John and I talked about this on Pack X's very first episode.
Yeah, about hops and
Yeah, and I thought
weed
he-
are related.
Yeah, and I questioned it, and he's like, yeah, man. And then I was like, are you sure? And
Now you know. Yeah, no, it's true. So hops and cannabis are cousins. They're in the same plant family. So as opposed to weed, hops grow on a vine. So basically,
Okay.
a vine. It's so
vine?
like vines.
oh, so you need a dip in your lip, and then
Yeah.
you'd be fucking just perfect.
Way
right
out
now.
in Yakima,
His back flexes
I
when he
got
says
my cousin fucking my other cousin. Let me tell you something.
you think you got problems where you're at? Shit.
This will be the third time I've had cousins marry each other, and I'm partially sick of it.
Partially.
Yeah, but so hops growing on a vine, they need a trellis, and they need so you stretch this vine out to a high point, and it grows up towards it, and it blooms and flowers and creates hops.
Interesting.
But it creates a lupulin. It
You
creates
got to
these
put it to a
blooms.
high point.
Yeah.
That explains all the pictures I've seen in like Apple Jacks or not Apple Jacks, fucking Jack. What is it called? It's not the Applebee's, but Hop Jacks.
Hop Jacks. Yes. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah, that was a whole Came all the way out in the parking lot in left field back to home base, Lloyd Smith, everyone.
I'll just play Left Out.
Yeah. Yeah. I like it. I'm going to settle for bench warmer, but at least I get a seat. But similar. And cannabis, it grows on a stalk. It grows as basically a plant or a tree. But they share very similar qualities in aromatics. They share very similar qualities in that cannabis has keef, which is the crystallized THC. Hops have lupulin powder, which is basically it's pollen, but it looks like little yellow fish eggs, but super tiny, like smaller than a BB. It's similar to the crystallized version on THC. It basically carries all the aromatics and oils in a hop. So what would be most potent in cannabis is what's most potent in hops. So cannabis, THC, the crystals, hops, lupulin, what's inside. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
There we go. Made a
Ah.
long point of it. Yeah. Making connections. So they are so similar. What's interesting is that it's actually been shown that like there are traits in cannabis plants that are it's not recessive. What is the word when you are protective against like infections like the plant,
immune?
Yeah. So
Immunity.
there's immunity
Okay.
there's immunity properties or genes in cannabis that are beneficial to hops. Vice versa.
I've heard of that.
Hops to cannabis. And you know what's common, and I know this because I'm in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you who it's fucking from because you know what? It's been from fucking hop pickers, which are mainly migrant workers. So I don't even know their fucking names. But
Right.
when these migrant workers go out to the hop fields and yak them out a pick,
Yeah.
the hop fields typically encase a cannabis grow up because of the traits that they both carry to keep diseases and infections away from each other. And when you you have to understand is that hops and
sick.
cannabis are both pollinated the same way. Bees
Right.
help them, nutrients, whatnot. So when you're having
both a
that
bud.
cross pollination constantly go on between hops and cannabis, it helps them both. So all these migrant workers would constantly ask like, "What are you here for?" It's like, "Oh, Citra, Eldorado, Amarillo." Those
Yeah.
are hop varieties for all those non-fucking beer drinkers out there. You don't know anything about craft beer. It's cool. I'm a fucking wizard, so let me take you on this journey.
I knew as soon as I mentioned this, dude, I was like, I'm gonna get my answer.
Yeah. So
Austin.
they would ask you like what you needed. You go out there, you get it, and they'd be like, "Yeah, you need anything else?" And no, we don't. Like, no, you like need anything else? And you can't see, but I'm doing
Yeah.
like a joint smoking
Yeah,
thing.
he's signaling,
And, dude, you could literally go out
yeah.
there and chop 100 fucking pounds of any type of hop you wanted, and
Oh,
get
wow.
the same amount of quantity of pot. Where it's like, "Yeah, what else do you need in your truck?" It's like, "Yeah, you're gonna wrap it up in bales the same way you wrap up these fucking hops." I'm just
That's
gonna
sick, man. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's the connect. I don't even know where this tangent came from. I'm
Well,
a little stoned right now, so, like,
I mean, I mentioned it. I was like,
it's like
We
I
took a
started
break
off
and-
on this like
Well,
trail, and I'm looking back at the point where like, wait, so where was the beginning of this? Or did just keep
I
going?
brought it up. I brought it up, and I mentioned how at the very beginning, I mentioned how the first episode, that's actually what I said Austin again, what John and I were talking about. It's actually on YouTube. You can check it out. It's actually an interview. It's called Interview with Johnny Boy. The
Boy.
topic is beer, gun, and alphabet. There is actually a video with
Johnny
visuals, just some
Yeah. Oh, you know what?
pictures.
I've seen that. You're right.
Have you seen it?
Dude, it's
It's
fucking
funny.
hilarious.
It's fucking.
It looked like a conspiracy video.
Yeah, dude.
It's just your voices. And it's flipping pictures.
But we're talking
of
about butt fucking.
butt fucking. You're talking about butt fucking.
No, we're talking about buds
buds.
fucking pot, marijuana, and we're talking about IPAs, fucking hops.
Yeah,
And John's like talking about it, like trying to make sense of it the way that you just were. But John's dude, I was listening.
Johnny Boy fashion.
I was listening to it with a friend of mine, and as John is talking and explaining how it's made, my friend goes, "Yeah, no." So I will let that friend who I'm talking about, his name is Sean, I'll let him know. Listen to this episode and tell me if it's a yeah or no, if Austin knows what he's talking about or not.
That's good, dude. That's fucking good.
Throwback. Anyways, dude, something that's fucking cool and that's weird and that's conspiracy that just happened recently. It's not conspiracy, but it could be. I have a question about it. You know about the big fucking transformer explosion that happened in New York? You don't know about that?
No.
Dude, where the entire
Zero.
New York City skyline like flashed blue and no one knew where it was from? Holy shit. We'll post another video of it on the PACX website and on our YouTube and all that good stuff. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and go to that video now. Let's watch it real quick, dude.
It flashed blue across the entire New York City skyline. And people think it was probably aliens?
Yeah, so that's what people, they're like, oh, wow. Here you go. So you see the title, this is UFO. This is
Was
UFO
there
causes transformer. Turn this down. But yeah, dude, look at that. That happened just like a couple weeks ago in New York City.
So
Tons of videos taken of it.
This,
So what it was is it was actually
This is a picture, correct?
that should be a video.
This is okay, wait a second. So what you're saying is that the course or whatever this goes through, and it just looks lit up blue. This is a video.
Yes. The sky, the entire New York City skyline was flashing blue.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. People were freaking out. So
What did they say it was?
So here's what they say it was. Okay, they say that it was a transformer at some like energy company called, I don't remember the name of it, that just blew, and because of the something about the chemicals or gases that it was releasing into the atmosphere, it caused flashes like that. Right.
What?
So I look into it, and I'm making sure not to read news articles. I'm not reading that. What the fuck they say?
You're in the deep web.
Because they all say the same fucking thing. I'm just going and just trying to actually look into it. So where do I go? I go to everyone keeps reflecting to the NYPD. What the NYPD is saying? Oh, the NYPD tweeted this. They tweeted that. So I go to the NYPD and I look. I scroll down, and here's the first thing they post. Austin, word for word, they say. Maybe not word for word, maybe, but they say no fire, no explosion, no evidence of extraterrestrial of the flash in New York City, right? So they say, again, I'm going to repeat, no fire, no explosion, and no evidence of extraterrestrials. Now, a bunch of people tweet back, that's exactly what I would expect my government to say if there were extraterrestrials, like as jokes and all that.
Yeah,
But here's the thing, dude. I'm like, okay, I think that's weird. I'm like, okay. So I scroll up in the NYPD's tweets, and here's what they tweet, like, just several hours later. The fire has been put out. Everyone is okay. No damage done. No one in harm. They said no fire the first time. And then I took fucking screenshots. We'll fucking post it later. They said no fire the first time, and then they said there was a fire. There was a fire that they put out. I've only found one video
This is like
filming
5 or 6 days ago.
Exactly. There's only a
Jesus.
video. I've only found one video filming the source. Yeah, look at it. It just keeps going. Filming the source of where it was from. So like
that was one thing I was about to say is I feel a lot of these videos, why is it taking like 50, 60 miles away? Everybody has a smartphone. Why are there not videos of the shit that is up close? Because people had to have been up close and
there's
videoed
only
it.
one video I saw up close, and it just looked like real, like that's what it actually was, and it just looked like a stream of fucking shit being released into the air silently. But so I looked it up. Is that what it's called? Fucking not a transformer, but you know what I mean when they go off.
No, I think you're talking about exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
like
transformer.
power
Yeah.
plant.
So my question. So then I looked into Transformers explosion. Explosion.
Explosion.
Explosion. That's a new word.
Hell
Oh
yeah.
shit! That means I'm getting excited. It means I've had a little too much.
Explosion.
I looked into Transformers let's just roll with it. Explosion. Yeah,
Yeah.
not exploding.
I'm down with it.
Explosion. And what I was reading, dude, was there's sounds. And I remember vividly Transformers exploding here in the Great Pacific Northwest during the windstorms we've had in the past. I remember hearing it, boom! And then I remember seeing a big, bright blue flash in the sky like it was almost lightning, but it was too colorful to be lightning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've seen
It was too pretty of a blue. So it looked just like what I'm seeing there. So that is very, if that's not what it is.
Like, it
yeah,
can
it's
be
conspiracy.
sensible to you. You look at it and be like, I've seen past experiences that this could
They
be
absolutely
a
looks
transformer
looks like a transformer explosion. However, they said no explosion, no fire, and then they said that first of all, that just goes to show that if there was a fire that happened and you said that there wasn't, that just shows that you're willing to jeopardize the truth in order to just satisfy the public with what needs to be said.
Yeah.
Therefore, we can't trust you. It doesn't matter if there's no conspiracy at all, and what happened was you thought there was no fire, and then you discovered there was. Even then, if you're not jeopardizing what you're saying to the people, then you're not doing your fucking job right if you're taking back what the fuck you said. Second of all, you're not going to acknowledge this little mishap in what you're saying. So, honestly, I think that first post was just a fucking reaction post, because I'm sure that they were just being blown up with calls and all sorts of shit, and someone was probably like, there is not this, there is not that, it is not that. There's no fucking aliens, it's not a fucking explosion, there's no fucking fire. But, like, they really don't fucking know yet.
They're just trying to quell the masses to
Right.
be safe.
You know, like, I'm not saying that there's some fucking evil, Dr. Evil sticking his pinky to his fucking corner lip,
Hell
like,
yeah, there
laughing,
is.
you know what I mean? Like, giggling about this and, like, tweeting for the NYPD. Do I want to go that deep? If I can find out, you're damn fucking right I do. Because what the fuck was that actually? And that's my point, dude, is if I don't think it was extraterrestrial shit. And you know me, Austin. I'm a fucking alien fucking freak. I love that shit. I've gone deeper down any fucking rabbit hole. Honestly, I challenge anyone out there than anyone else who's gone down the rabbit hole of fucking aliens. I challenge you. Anyone, come and fucking talk to me, dude. I've gone down that rabbit hole so fucking deep, I should have a fucking degree in bullshit. But I don't think that was aliens at all. And a lot of people think it was. People who are from there think it was, who were there during the time. I'm just convinced because when I watched the video, I'm like, that looks like a transformer. My concern about the whole thing is the NYPD, the ones who were claiming to say as authority on what this is and what it wasn't, were just so unorganized in their disclosure on this. You know, I don't find it. It's just, but it's then again, it's another reflection of a lot of shit in America, man. Like tying back to what we said at the beginning of this episode, everything is emotional, and I think that was 100% an emotional post to combat the emotional people probably calling in.
Yeah, I would agree.
But the people said they heard sirens, like they said that right after the blue flashes happened, they heard sirens and everything, and people were worried. They were calling their loved ones. I mean, think about it, dude. How long ago was 9/11? 18, 17 years ago?
Yeah, 18.
18 years
Well,
ago?
18 this year, so 17.
This year, right. So it will be 18 this year. So 9/11 was 17 years ago. You know, of course, people of New York older than, let's say, 25 are going to be very concerned and call when they see a big, massive blue flash in the sky. That's repeating itself over and over again silently. But as far as they say there was no explosion, like no one heard anything, no boom. I've always heard a boom when I see Transformers go out. So what do you think?
What do I think? I mean, I would agree with you. I think that just looking at the video, and again, like I'm always just interested in why isn't there video up close of the shit that goes on.
Never is.
Yeah. You know, we've had way too many things happen, I think, in the last 10 to 15 years, not 10 to 15, 10 to 15 years, that have questioned whether or not we are the only, you know, sort of beings in this galaxy. We talked about that Amuaka, or whatever that...
Yeah, the meteor.
Yeah, the meteor, whatever flew by
Yeah.
and then exited
Air quotes
at
meteor.
a faster... Yeah, exactly, because the thing was that Harvard scientists came out and said, this is not at all an alien life form.
Yeah,
and then
but,
they also
but you
said
also
shortly
can't prove
after,
what it is.
they also said shortly afterwards that we can't prove also that this isn't an alien life form, and then they gave all these things of like how it came in, speed, blah blah blah.
Right.
So the more and more I see this happen,
Yeah, I don't see an up close video.
the more and more I tend
we
to
go.
believe that we're, you know, understanding and unlocking things that we don't just fully comprehend. So we're trying to figure out ways for them to be. So this is closer. Okay, I can see that there's that
Do you see
transformer
it?
tower.
So does that look real? Because for all you know, I can. Okay, here's the thing, dude. To think like
Does
a
this
fucking
look real?
realistic
You know what's-
conspiracy
this
theorist.
looks like a fire.
You
Like,
got to question. You got to question stupid shit like an idiot. Let's just say for a quick second
well, here's what's
that
interesting about it.
that was started and that was planted
Well,
there.
here's what's interesting is like you see this. There's such a weird like lens refraction of. Hold on, can you replay it? Yeah, reflection. It's definitely a light refraction though. Like this is like so. Typically, when you take photos in the sun, you get stuff like this. And this is just so odd to me though, because I get it that it's bright, like the central point of light is there, but it's also got such a. It looks like a Z. It's got. And not saying this has anything to do with the conspiracy, but that to me is just interesting because I've done a bunch of photography in the sun, and usually it looks like a crescent moon, and this thing comes across very like rigid. I mean, you could see it right there.
You're right.
It looks like a letter.
Yeah, dude, you're fucking right.
So that could be like shit in the foreground. That's this bright light is burning. That's creating that shadow. But that is, I think that's definitely interesting and up for question. Like that doesn't all seem normal, especially with, like it happened and emergency services are coming around saying like it's not a fire, it's not an explosion. Typically, when power goes out, the electric company is the first person to come out and be like, "Hey, there's power outages." News picks it up. Then the emergency services picks it up. Like, were you here when that windstorm came through recently, like
Yes,
around
I
Christmas,
was.
and you got that emergency alert on your
Yes.
cell phone about 911 services were out
That
like
too.
across
Yeah.
across Washington State.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
I
That
immediately went online and took screenshots of the local police department, fire department, medical, all that.
Yeah,
just to
know
have the
who to call.
numbers. Yeah. Yeah.
and that's what's interesting though is that when that happens, that's the response. This is questionable. The response was immediately by the Newark Police Department. Is that what you said? Or is that what
Yes.
is that? Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
They
NYPD.
immediately came out and said, we're just like, yeah, so this is not a fire, it's not UFOs, it's not an explosion, it's not this and that. Reactionary. But
Reactionary.
not
and
only
then
that,
you-
but
ugh.
it's like you throw so many things and it looks just like
How
a
do you
cover-up.
fucking know? Yeah,
Like,
it's exactly. That's what everyone
For all
tweeted
we know,
back.
Space Jam is happening over there, and you're trying to tell us that Space Jam isn't happening over there.
Right. Exactly. And that's what everyone's response was, dude. No one, like, there was only a very small amount of people that were like, oh, okay, good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then the other half, the people were just mocking it, like, huh, this seems very, like, okay, how do you know that? Like, my favorite one was, like I said, that person who was like, well, this is exactly what I would expect to be told if there was a cover-up. It almost sounds like too typical. And then they probably, realistically, man, who knows? Maybe they went and planted that fucking fire right there and then fucking put it out, then tweeted, hey, the fire's been put out now. Who knows? But what's interesting is the video of that title said that a UFO caused it. I'd like to see that video and see who is providing any sort of arguable evidence that shows that. Did someone see shit in the sky or something like that? Speaking of, just something that the mass public witnesses that gets dismissed. Maybe I've talked to you about this before, but do you know about the giant fucking UFO that floated over, I believe, Phoenix, Arizona?
No.
Oh my gosh!
When
dude.
was this?
This was at least late '90s, early 2000s.
So
I'm
this
not
is in
sure.
our lifetime.
Yes, absolutely, 100% in our lifetime. And what happened was basically, dude, a giant size craft. It looked like an aircraft carrier. People described it as very black. It was the size of several football fields, an aircraft carrier, and it was just hovering over Phoenix, Arizona. People are freaking out, absolutely fucking nuts. Well, the next day, of course, it's like, how is this going to be addressed? The way that, they, air quotes, the government addresses this is it's the governor of Phoenix, Arizona.
The way
Not
he
governor.
addresses this, or
Not-
he is the reason for
The governor addresses it. The
governor addresses.
The governor goes on stage, and he says, "Okay, everyone, we found the culprits. We found who's responsible for this, and we're gonna bring them on stage." And someone walks onto the fucking stage wearing an alien fucking suit as a joke. People immediately booed him. So you hear laughter, ah ha ha, and like clapping, like as it's a joke, and then people were like, boo. people reacted ferociously, dude. They were pissed because they were scared.
Yeah, dude,
they were
want
fucking
answers.
terrified, and you're mocking it.
Yeah.
Like, of course, something told you, hey, this is, what you think this is, maybe he went to chain of command, like, yo, I don't know what the fuck this is. Get the Air Force over here, blah blah blah. And they're like, what, you think it's alien? I don't know. I don't want to even think that. There's no way to find it out. You can only speculate.
Yeah.
But that's fucked up. Now here's what's crazy, and this is in a documentary called Unacknowledged. I've mentioned it to you before.
Yeah.
It's Dr. Stephen Greer. It's very interesting, but he's a friend of the Clintons, and I don't know, smells fishy. Anyways, he films it. He interviews the guy, this governor, which is very interesting when he's not in office anymore, and he interviews him. And actually, what happened? I don't know if it was months or a couple of years later. He came back out and apologized for that, and said that he said that he had no clue what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he said in his interview, he's like, look, I responded to the public was terrified and afraid, and I thought that we needed a joke to just, laugh about it. When the truth
put
is,
people
it's
at ease.
Yeah, put people at ease. I know it's scary and this and that, and it's like, I don't know, man. To me, it's like that's just an example of either you having like a gun to your head and you being told what to do, or that's the 100% truth. I could believe that was just his call. What they say in that ownership book about SEALs I was telling you about is he says that in moments when you're about to fucking cripple down, when you don't know what to do and you're a leader and lives are at stake and this and that, he says he always remembers what his instructor taught him, which was very simple. It was breathe, look around you, make a call. Not breathe, relax. Relax. Look around you, make a call. That's probably exactly what he did, and his reaction was to do that. Reactionary, just like the NYPD.
Yeah.
But these people who are reactionary to do what us as society has taught us to do, which is to not question things that are as bizarre as fucking aliens, because you're about to throw your entire career down the drain. You imagine how much shit you can cause if you're like, hey, this might be aliens, and you're that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like society.
Check out Todd. Todd believes in aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
Stone him.
Exactly. Society itself is gonna fucking
Yeah.
destroy you. You don't even need the CIA
Well,
or whatever to
especially,
take you behind
like,
and beat you silly.
People always want to be like, give us the truth, and that's one
Who's
thing
gonna be
throughout
that
history.
one fucking
Yeah.
guy to be like,
Well, can
no,
you handle
this
it?
is actually maybe aliens, guys. We should look into this.
Can you handle it? Can you imagine if you told?
Who's gonna step
Can
up
you
and do
imagine if
that?
you told, like, just not even the United States, Governor of Arizona, hey guys,
Your
this,
boss?
this was an alien visit.
Right.
Can
Or
you
told
imagine
people
what
that?
the
Yeah.
fuck people would do? People would lose their shit.
I don't think people lose their shit. I think they would make the fucking the hell out of that. They wouldn't listen, dude. It's at that point.
Oh.
The truth, the conspiracy about aliens is so beautiful and brilliant that
Dude,
even
not in this
if they
environment
flew
now.
onto the White House, dude, and landed and were like whipped out their dicks and were like, yo, we can
All
fucking
6 of
make,
them?
and we can make our own breeds together, yo, and we can speak English and we like music, whatever the fuck happened, it would still get made fun of. And even if people had video of it, video can be made in anything, dude. I'm telling you, evidence is all over the world of this kind of shit, and it gets dismissed so easily. And guess what? The CIA and all them, they don't have to hide it anymore. Us as society hides this by the ridiculousness that's been brainwashed into our heads to dismiss it so quickly because it doesn't fit in with our religion, our mindset, our capitalism, our society, our way of the world. I'm telling you, dude, they could fly onto the White House, they could fly into New York, they could land on the Narrows Bridge and be like, hey, we're here, and we won't even believe it. We'll still dismiss it, dude. That's how we are. That's how we've been bred to be, and that's how this conspiracy was made in the early fucking 50s.
We're sheeple, dude. Bunch of
Yes,
sheeple, except for people that think for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. He keeps. They interview him later on, this fucking this governor dude, and you can tell he just fucking feels bad.
Yeah.
I would like to know if he was telling the truth or.
Let's bring him
know.
on.
Right.
His podcast. Let's
no
bring him on.
fucking kidding. Let's try to reach out to him, dude. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I could find a video of it and show it to you, but there's a lot of other instances, man. I mean, I already started the fucking rabbit hole of fucking aliens, bro. But
Hey, that's
you know,
what we dive into next week, dude. Let's
I
get
don't wanna
all
go
weirded
deeper,
out.
but
No,
let's-
we should.
It's very intriguing when
And that's the thing
mass
for you
public
guys
has
to
to do
think
with it.
about. Do you believe in aliens? Send in your thoughts or
Do you,
message us
Austin?
on the Insta. Yeah, absolutely.
You do?
Absolutely. Honestly, it's not even me being
I think
like
everyone does.
hippie and open-minded.
Yeah.
To think that we are the only forms of life in this expanding galaxy that we have no clue how far it goes is absurd to me.
Right.
It's absurd. Here's the thing, though, too, is that people will be like, yeah, well, what if we are? Then, yeah, it's a very, like, sad existence, and maybe
What?
that's part of me.
We are alone?
Yeah, what if we are totally alone? Our existence was happenstance. This happening was happenstance, and
Yeah.
it's just a one and a done. Like, you live your life, you die, cool, then you go back to being whatever the fuck we were, like floating particles of matter that had no cognitive function, just shit that was there but didn't even realize it was
Right.
there.
Some
Just out
fucking
there.
mistake made out of dust.
Yeah.
I think that
So-
sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, dude. I fucking hate God. No, I'm just kidding.
My gosh.
Yeah.
Nah,
But
I don't.
aliens, dude, I believe in them. I think it's a good point to even that we'll talk about. We should talk about our favorite alien incidences and how we believe. I think we've talked about that on multiple podcasts, but we'll just like dedicate a episode
Right.
to.
We'll make it a thing. Absolutely, I agree. So we can talk about that going forward. That which just means that keep your eyes in the skies. Ever since I went down the rabbit hole, I've looked into the skies, and I'll tell you, dude. Once you become obsessed with looking into the skies, and those people out there who look into the skies anyways, just out of their own pleasure of seeing beauty, a lot of shit goes down on a fucking clear night.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
beautiful, from meteorites to the ISS floating by to fucking comets and to UFOs. So let's get fucking jiggy with it. Let's get weird. We'll see you folks next week.
Yes, thank you for listening in. Lloyd's put a lot of work in, dude, and now here we are in 2019. Austin is just stoked to be on this ride, but thank you guys for supporting us.
No kidding. Well said, man. Thank you. Our little 1 year for PackX will be in April. We launched our first episode like April 20th, 420 or something fucking silly like that.
Oh, God. It's
So
going to be one of those episodes where we have to get stupidly high just to get
right,
it all fixed.
exactly. Check us out, guys, at PackX and gals at packxpodcast.com. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. Please share us with your friends. Maybe not share us with your family, but share us with your friends. It's going to be the best way for us to get bigger and huge. So, by huge, it's an inside joke. What I mean by that is we can get better equipment and really cool people on
Gonna
the
be
show.
huge.
Thank you guys so much. We love y'all. See you next week.